little bit of personal information about him. He's been married for quite some time. He loves tennis and plays 4 times a week. He's an avid snow skier, 4 to 5 weeks a year. And he joined Rotary immediately after his GSE tour to southwest Pennsylvania in 1972. He's been District Secretary for 1977-78, President of Nerang in 77-78, and President of Surfers Sunrise for 2009-2010. He's been the District Chair for GSE, and he has also now been the Chair of Membership. But on his professional side, he's a very successful architect, and his examples of what he's done in his career, there's many, too many for me to list it, other than to say they're very notable landscape items that we have at the Gold Coast that Daryl has obviously been very much involved with. So without any further, I welcome Daryl to our club.
Thank you, Sandra. Sue, Rotarians. Well, when I was first given the task of being chair of membership, I inwardly groaned. I thought, how do I tackle membership? Now, I believe this has been trumped up a bit as it'll be interesting and all that, but boy, oh boy, it was difficult for me to get my head around it. So the very first thing I looked at were the statistics for the district. Now, this club here is a great club. It has strong membership. It's one of the biggest in the district. And all right, it might have a few ups and downs, but generally the trend is it will be growing here. You have a great catchment area, and it's incredible that you actually have a Generation Y member here. It's good to see. But generally the district's in trouble. At the height of the district, there were 1,800 members. Now, it's generally 1,400 members. Now, why are they leaving? And with the clubs, some clubs have only 20 members. There's 16 clubs with under 20, 10 clubs with 15 and under, and 2 clubs with 10 and under. Now, how can they survive? Very difficult. It places a tremendous workload on the members in the district, in the club, to actually perform. They're always having to put their hand up. Now, we all have our times where we can't help with projects. We know that. But consistently, if you can help with projects, that releases the burden on a lot of people. And you've got this bookshop, which is a tremendous facility within the club to operate, and it's a good, steady income. Now, it's interesting to see that Fassifern's here because the only way the district's growing at the moment is through new clubs. And Fassifern actually brought up our membership from something like 1,380 up to the 1,400, and it's really good to see. And I know that you've been in my sessions at Pets and so forth. And in fact, there's about 6 members here today that have actually heard my presentation before. So sorry about that, guys. So the more the numbers, the more the merrier. The more the numbers, the more the helpers, and the more the numbers, the more the networking. And networking is important within Rotary. And you achieve more friends, more networking. It is just a great way to go. Now, with DG Graham Jones's goal for this year, he wants to add 100 new members to the district. That's his challenge to the district. It sounds like, Sandra, you've got a few coming into the club here, which is great. But remember, you will lose members. My own club of Surfers Sunrise, when I was president, I introduced 14 new members into the club. We lost 2 within that first year. We got up to 48 members. We're down to about 42. And why will you lose them? Very, very unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, we lost 1 who died from cancer. He was only 61. We lost another one out of the club through severe strokes. And of course, the financial crisis has placed a big problem on some of the members, and we have lost a couple because of the financial crisis, even though we've offered to subsidise them. So you can't predict what will actually happen. Now, you would have lost in this area, the maritime industry, you would have suffered very badly. These things you just don't know. So therefore, you always have to be on the constant lookout for potential members. So we need to go back to basics. Fellowship and comradeship within the club. This is how Paul Harris started out, when he got his little group of guys together, and he concentrated on that and built up from that. Be friendly. Now, I believe you have a greeter, or a secret greeter. I don't know who that secret greeter is today, but did everyone get welcomed, or did everyone go around and greet each other? Bit difficult. I see a few faces being pulled here. And please don't leave visitors like a shag on a rock. There's one club I will never go back to, and surprisingly enough, another member of our club has lamented the same problem, because you go there, you stand around, and all of a sudden you're standing by yourself, you go up to people, they move off or whatever. It is very difficult when you go into a club, and remember there's a lot of new members that will come into a club, and they need to be greeted. And if they don't feel as if they're welcome within Rotary, they will leave. They will leave within the first 2 years. That's the statistics. Also be aware of the loner in the club, because we're all different. All find it hard to converse at times. Some people are very, very shy. So don't leave that loner just sitting there. Make sure that you try and you probably have to put more effort in than that person's putting in. But at least if you put the effort in, and if that person leaves in the end, well, at least you know that you've actually tried. And of course, make the guest speaker feel welcome, because actually the guest speaker might become a member. We actually had a Generation Y guest speaker, and he's now been in our club for 18 months. It's great, because unfortunately our club is getting older. Our club is probably my age average, which is not good. But I think young, I try to be young, I'm still active, and if you're active and you can talk to the Generation Y and get the Generation Y involved, you need the Generation Y for the survival of Rotary, and of course Generation X. So, to be an effective Rotary Club, you need the members, you need a variety of members, a variety of professions, a variety of ages, and all to be active. And you're only a member if you pay your dues. And you're only a member if you attend at least 50% of the meetings. Before it used to be 60%. And when you're approaching people to join Rotary, they say, oh, every week coming to Rotary. That's a bit of a bind. But, and of course, when people do come to Rotary, and if you've been in Rotary as long as I've been, nearly 40 years, you think, I'm a bit sick of Rotary. And in fact, we just lost our president, our charter president of Surfers Sunrise, because he became disinterested no matter what we tried to do. He decided to leave, but also he decided he didn't want the financial commitment. Now, that's very, very unfortunate, but I can assure you that all of you, as time goes on, at some stage you will lose a little bit of interest in Rotary, but you do become revitalised in Rotary. And it's through getting involved in projects such as we operate a barbecue once a month, a sausage sizzle. And I heard the groans coming up from our club, oh, you don't make any money out of that, I prefer to donate the money instead of my time. But actually, the comradeship that comes out of that is absolutely superb. And we get more people there to operate the sausage sizzle than we actually need. We will get 6 people when you only really need about 2 to operate. And we do it in shifts. And even when we do the collections in shopping centres for Polio Plus, we get more people volunteering. And that's great, because actually what you do when it's a boring time, you just stand around and you talk. That's good.